Click. Click.
Like, we think diversity is a good thing. We think that there should be characters from all different backgrounds and colors and ages and everything. And it's offensive when the best you could do is just swap out the race of a character and remake a movie. You're not even trying. That's like throwing minorities a bone and being like, are you happy now? Are you happy now? Everybody clap for us. No.
Whoa. Does she even realize the irony that she's being completely bigoted in this moment? I don't think so. Racist babies with a budget? Oh my goodness, folks, look out! Hello once again, folks, and welcome back to the show. I'm aronmsound, and this is Look Up, the show where I interject myself into a conversation that not a single person in the world asked me to be a part of, and that's because you don't want me to be a part of this conversation. And most of the time it's probably pretty good because I just would convolute it and make people confused. But if you're following along, you understand that I'm breaking down a construct that looks like a big obelisk and has a little pyramid at the top of it that's holding us all down in a bunch of prisons of mental thought. So I'm here to help you out of that mental prison. And if you're like, oh my goodness, this is moving a mile a minute, 1,000 miles a second, well, guess what? We're on a planet that moves 16,000 miles a minute or so. So let's get into it. Do racist babies have a budget nowadays? They sure do. And yeah, I'm calling it out. The slightly veiled, it's not even veiled, it's just a mild facade of racism constantly found on this particular program and sold with such a youthful, pretty face. It makes me wonder what the real agenda is, other than the people who produce the show must have thought to themselves, you know, Ben Shapiro is a great bigoted character, but what we really need is a female Ben Shapiro who's young enough to last for a while. Let's find somebody with eyebrows. So they did, and lo and behold, not only does she look like his sister, she looks like a member of the family, which apparently that's how you get on that show. The eyebrows. And the same limited idea and the same irony of holding others to standards that you don't hold yourself to. But anyways, I'm saying too much. What today's show is about is how there's a large amount of bigotry and prejudice being spread throughout this side of the media and being played off as somehow, anti-woke. And woke is been used as some kind of lambasting term to describe people who are aware. And I think we need to take that language away from the prejudicial people who want it all to be done. Oh, the civil rights, that happened. Civil rights, that happened, so it's just done. It's just done. No, well, obviously it's not done if you just think there's nobody still benefiting from privileges that they didn't really earn, that they just have because of the status that's been held and hoarded for them. Now, if you don't recognize that there are systems like this, then you must be taking part in it or benefiting from it, because that's how the world works. And that's why I'm here, to address these things and the inequities in our daily lives and how we can get past them with the mindsets of stepping free of the prison that was built for us. And when I say this, it is not just a metaphor. It's a physical reality. And I'm not going to get into that in this episode. It would draw me too off course. What I really want to get into is how Homegirl here has such a huge budget, for this kind of just open bigotry in general. And the irony is, I think she's thinking that she's smart and everybody's agreeing with her because she's been given a platform and so much money. She basically, imagine moving out of your parents' house and having just those same ideas that you had when you were, a teenager in a privileged life, no less. And then just, that's how it is. You know better than the rest of the world. We can ignore the needs for these things. But today, what they're talking about is some simple, it's a facade to cover up. They're using an argument of Why do they need to update things to cover up bigotry? And they ignore the truth that the story that they're talking about is a dark story that includes all kinds of fantasy. And fantasy should be reflective and representative of the time period that you live in. And since we don't live in a world where it's just white people anymore, and we're not in Britain, and it's not 1886 or 1910, 1913, whenever the I think actually this is a pre-20th century story, and I'm referring to Peter Pan. If you don't actually know the story of Peter Pan and Wendy, you don't know that this is a very dark, sad tale. That much like many of the fantasy stories pre-20th century, the ends of the stories were very realistic environments, where they told children, yo, shit's kind of real out there. Shit gets real. It's not going to end in a fancy story. And the only thing that happens is that if you believe in dramatized fantasy, that the worst outcome is going to happen. That's what those stories tell. That's what Greek tragedy is. Humor is the only story that ends up with a positive. And it's all fantasy. And I do believe that we live in a world now where fantasy is being used as a cover for any form of hidden agenda. Simply because it sells. Simply because it's more interesting. It's more drama. I'm sitting here talking about it, taking part in this maze-like prison of poop throwing. Oh, hold on a second, I forgot to bedazzle that bad boy. Woo! Oh no, the groove is heated. The groove is heated because I'm kind of ticked about this. They let I think she's 21. I mean, this reminds me of everything that was on the radio during a certain pre-war era time in a certain country when there was just radio. You wouldn't know about this, kids, unless you looked into a history book and then actually read that thing. So it's it's called propaganda. And it's selling a certain idea. And maybe her boss and her boss's parent company thinks they're slick. But I think you and I know. And that's why there's a whole audience actually watching this getting a kick. And I don't think that she actually knows that there's a whole audience sitting there, watching her for, they wanted to see her boss, but her body. So that's what they did. Which is disturbing. It's just disturbing. Either that or the audience is really into Shapiro's sister. I think that might be something too. I'm not sure. I can't say. I just guess at this. I'm doing my best here. I'm trying to keep it up with it all. You tell me in the links down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can go ahead and like and subscribe to the comics section if you want. I do it just to keep an eye on the wackies. If you think I'm wacky, I have a sense of humor about myself. I can make fun of myself. I know when seriousness is needed. And it's not on camera. But I'd never play a character for you and not make it clear that I'm playing one. All right, cool. I'm glad that we got that out of the way. But what's really important to remember is that she's playing a character, and she doesn't, I don't know, does she know it? If she does, she's being really dangerously cynical about it. And I think that's what I'm trying to bring across to you. Forget about thinking. That is what I'm trying to bring across to you. Subversive propaganda. No, I will not edit that out. No. This is the long form. Next month, you guys will get the short form. I'm calling it... This is terrible. I'm calling... Oh my God, I can't believe I came up with this, by the way. Engineer that's not there. You laughed about this, right? Yeah, he laughed about it, totally. Because he's not there. Yeah, I'm calling it Lookup for Dummies. Because the shortened version, get to it quick. Okay, and then the shorts, wait till they see my idea for the show. Oh my God. Those shorts! Yeah, we're getting to that, folks. Anyhow, are you ready? Because I'm ready. Let's drop the bass. You ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. Woo! Let's hear what she has to say.
I think they should remake every single movie, make every single person a person of color. Hey, that's nice. Could you actually just create a new, like, we don't want to see the same movie, like, go that, oh, we're so sorry they were white, let's make it. No, just write a new one.
Sign up for your Dita.
Okay, there's so much to unpack for that. Beyond the privileged white girl position, does she not realize that in my lifetime, in our lifetime, people are still having to challenge prejudicial systems that hold them back from selling a home at an equal cost to a person like her, who, by the way, she just bought her first home, folks. She's 21. Most of us, like myself, saved our whole lives and still struggled to buy a home. And this person, I don't think she realizes that what she lives is privilege, which is why she has such an attitude about the situation. I think what she thinks is that it's all just easy. What, it's easy? It was just, I just got it. How many black friends do you have? Oh, you have the one at work. And we come to find out that you guys aren't actually real friends. You just work together. By the way, that's another video. Woo! That's a good one. I should go find that and put that in the link. I probably won't. Because I don't like to give them more time than they should. Anyhow, yes, Miss Attitude, tell us about what you think movies should be in your 21 years of experience and knowledge of what they should be as opposed to what they are. Tell me again what reality should be as opposed to what it is, because that's what... here's the other thing. She's the one who's angry about the movie changing. Who's the intolerant one? Yeah, it's intolerant saying, oh, you're intolerant because you did something different. Ah! She doesn't realize representation is important. She doesn't want it to be important because it doesn't show her what she wants. And by the way, check the names on the comments that she gets.
Plus instead.
Exactly. Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. I somehow missed this in the last couple of weeks, but apparently Disney is doing...
I'm sorry, did you not get the Disney feed? I would gather that your makeup suggests that you are very much on the Disney feed. You look like Belle. You literally look like a Disney face. And I think that's part of the problem. I think this person has somehow bought into this Disney world, and the fantasy dream, and because she lives in it, she thinks that everybody should just live in it, and that's just how it should be because it comes to her that way. We're not realizing that everything about her is a privileged position. I wonder if she felt this way if she hadn't grown up the way she had. And by the way, there's plenty. I already looked into this. I know. I'm not just imagining this. I'm not making it up. You can go ahead. They have all of this on her YouTube page. Much less that there's plenty of information out there about her and her nothing burger existence. She's an actress. They liked her. She has the same eyebrows. It's basically... my theory is that it's just Ben Shapiro in a female body, and they knew that Ben Shapiro's audience was alone and lonely, and they could really use the company of a young lady. Really. I mean, it's disturbing to me on a number of levels. And she gets the Disney thing, too. It didn't hurt. It's all of the, fantasy being sold to keep you in a little of thought. Anyways, let me let her speak. All right.
Another remake. Are we surprised? No, we are not.
Who could have seen this coming?
They are doing a new Peter Pan movie because obviously no one can be bothered to make anything except remakes these days.
Well, the problem is... Yeah, the problem is, what she's not realizing... the problem that she's kind of missed is that her generation doesn't want anything new. They want to keep regurgitating the same thing, and original ideas are frowned upon and ignored. And And anything that isn't part of a echo chamber doesn't get any attention. If it's not in the shorts, if it can't be summed up in a way that it fits their funnel chamber straight into their little mouth like the hamster cage of the manosphere. If it doesn't fit into a neat little package that fits a very tiny psyche, then that face, if you didn't know, used to be saved for Mrs. Howell. Now, it's Valor. Now, it's a suggestion that that you're better. It's built inward, as well as the vocal growl, the vocal fry. It's all just a show to give you an idea of how important someone thinks they are, instead of seeing us all as equal. Because that's what's the real problem here is a lack of respect, a lack of cooperation, a lack of sense that you're equal or the same as others. And because you have to live in a world that is diverse and not all like you, and becoming less and less like you, your fear response is to say, don't change things that I just think should be some way else. Look, your lack of perspective is stunning. If I had to measure it quantifiably, it would literally not fit anywhere into this picture. It'd be you. It'd be like the state of Texas. And it wouldn't fit in your bag. Or your fancy Tesla. Which you didn't get. But anyhow. Trust me, folks, privilege will make you blind, because you too can pull the wool right over your own eyes. Ooh, I'm so happy now. I feel comfortable. I can't see a single thing.
And Tinkerbell is now black, because obviously the only creative thing that Disney could do is race swapping.
So I hate to tell you this, but if you don't know the lore of the Fae, you don't understand that Tinkerbell may not have even been a girl. It's never described in the book. And the book is dark. And the Lonely Boys and the Lost Boys, they're not... It's a metaphor for lost children. Wendy's there and considered one of the Lost Boys. And if you're not smart enough to comprehend that, let me explain it to you. Wendy's considered one of the Lost Boys, so that means that there's other people in the group, and the names were left open on purpose so that little girls and little boys of the time period would see themselves represented in the story. Peter Pan may actually be a little girl, and we don't know. That's why, for the most part, it was played by a woman. Historically, it was always played by a woman. Forget about the fact that it having representation, excuse me as I correct my frumpy collar. I love when people who have no perspective or knowledge of the background of an actual story start attacking a different take on something. She's in such an echo box, a little chamber. And she's just so proud of her. As you can see, she's so sure of herself. I have to wonder, does anybody correct her? No. She can build a wall around herself in a little prison of her own bedazzled fancy poop. And never in her life will she ever be touched by things unless a whole group of people cancel her or take her down. I think it's irresponsible that the people who pay for this program just let this kind of jargon go on. And YouTube will take a lot of just nothing off, but they'll let this kind of subversive, unhinged stuff float. But thank goodness, because I'm as unhinged as that, so let's match the power. and light the fire to free our minds from this petty baby racism, hidden by a glamorous picture and a pretty face that looks like a Disney princess in itself, which is no wonder she's pissed. No wonder she's pissed. She wants Disney princesses to look like her, and if they're not, she's upset. Well, miss, guess what? Nah.
We're going to talk about that today. Before we do, though, you guys know the drill. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a comment section or off the clock episode. All right, so
subscribe and like. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Wait, subscribe and like. If you wouldn't mind, subscribe and like. It keeps me going, and I'll keep making better material. And if I start getting paid for this stuff, goodness gracious! Oh man, what I can do. Wait, I'll go to the... Yeah, that's you. That's you responding to me saying, can you imagine what I can do? If I can put on massive concerts and shows and all kinds of things, and I can consult and get people to do their own big things, and this is what I do with just the leftovers around my house. Imagine what would happen if I had a little budget. Man, I would take this to the next level, and there's our revolution in spirit, in mind, and in the journey for all of us. Giving us a chance to take ourselves to that next level and drowning out before it's too late and these people take over. Because trust me, they're gonna want an authoritarian leader. They're gonna want their way in the world, and they're going to come up with every reason why you're attacking them for wanting to be equal. Don't be bought off by this BS up above. They want us to roll back the tide, but with greater powers on their side because they already have the pocket strings to do so. Look at the pretty set. Look at the capability. Look at how she immediately had 2 million followers right away. Why? Because she had the platform handed to her. It's a dangerous time we live in, folks. And that's why I'm willing to put myself at the front line and say, look, it's dangerous, but the world and life and the experience is dangerous, and we gotta stand up for ourselves. And this kind of bigotry, just out there, coming from the Disney face, it's no bueno. Look out!
Tinkerbell character in the new Peter Pan movie dropped at the end of February. This was the tweet that I somehow missed. She is being played by Yara Shahidi, who I mainly know from the show Blackish, and then they had a spin-off.
Mainly now from the show Blackish? Like, does that have to do with Peter Pan Blackish? Yeah, it's called acting. I know you know about this. I know you know about acting because you're an actor, Chris. Kind of. You don't have to play any roles, so you know. Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. It was something about a college student. Adultish? Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. People obviously have thoughts. Here it is from discussing film.
Isn't it adultish? Grownish. That's her heavy poop face.
First look at Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell in Disney's Peter Pan and Wendy.
Dope.
Like, first thoughts, before I'm even talking about Yara Shahidi,
what are your first thoughts? Do I care? No. But you're gonna tell me. Damn.
But also dark and depressing. Like every remake they do, the only creative thing they know how to do, like I said, is race swapping and then making everything look sad and absurd.
Oh, I love how she shitburgered that. Why are they making it all dark and depressing? And then just using race swapping but why don't they just don't miss it. Don't miss the bigotry all pushed in between what could be an actual constructive criticism. Because you undermine the constructive criticism by suddenly being a bigot. Yeah, it's bigoted to have a problem with them putting a different kind of actress or actor in the role. We didn't have, I mean, there've been cross-dressing Tinkerbells. There've been all kinds of Tinkerbells. There's a cartoon Tinkerbell. That's the one you want. You want the little blonde Tinkerbell. That's the thing is what you're comparing it to is your idea of a 1950s cartoon produced by a known anti-Semite that we all seem to celebrate. Whoa! I mean, the guy was a bigot. You don't see any people of color in those cartoons. And don't tell me Mickey Mouse does not count. That is not it. No. And with the ones you do, the Crows. You ever seen the Crows? You ever seen Zippity-doo-dah? I did. Song of the South. My dad took me to go see Song of the South. I'm still scarred. Scarred for life. No, seriously. When I thought back on it, I was like, wait, Uncle Amy? Wait, hold on a second. Oh my God! Did my dad know? I asked him about it. He was like, no, we didn't think about it that way. Yeah, because that's exactly the problem. They didn't think about it that way because privilege will wipe out your ability to see the perspective, to come from the other side, to have empathy, which this person is completely lacking, like a freaking psychopath. Because at her level, it is psychopathic in some way, shape, or form. That behavior. And by the way, if you have a problem with me using psych terms, grow up. It's how you describe the behavior. The jargon in terms is there for a reason. You don't like it? Go elsewhere. Thank you very much for watching, though. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's vibrant and noticeable.
I get our world is not great right now, but at least we could have like an escape and bring some...
We do have an escape. We have your fantasy. And the escape that is your fantasy... I wonder how like nothing her face becomes when you take the Disney eyes off. And are those really... I think, well, look, those aren't completely her eyebrows. They make her more Ben Shapiro. And they're like having her pull her hair back, so it's more Ben. It is creepy, you all. If you don't think that her audience, or that Ben's audience is really actually interested in him, but does this let you know that, does Ben, and that's my question, does Ben's audience want to sleep with Ben Shapiro? And we just don't know this? And they put this on, they did some like survey, would you like to sleep with Ben Shapiro? And it was like 99% yes. And it was like, oh, we need to start a show with a girl that looks like Ben Shapiro or his sister. The second question was, would you sleep with Ben Shapiro's sister? 99.9% said ancient alien theorists say yes. It's because they've never said no, people. No, they did. They said maybe once. I know, there's an episode in this last season where they said maybe. I think I've said this before on the channel.
color to like childhood films. I don't know, maybe Tinkerbell could have something positive going on. You could have at least made the lighting.
Okay, first off, Tinkerbell's a jerk. See the look on the 50 that they even... Tinkerbell bites. And if you don't know fairy lore, fairies are not cool. The Fae, they will mess you up. They're just one part of the Fae. If you don't know the lore, you don't understand the inference and the story, and it's kind of been drowned out. That when they try to bring it back in, it gets too deep. But especially now recently, actually, there's been a lot of this in fantasy stories. So people are starting to get into it, and Team Jacob. Anyhow, but I've never seen the shows, never seen the stories. I just know like and roll. Anyhow, I figure I would be or you know what I would be? I would be that version where where at some point in my lineage, because I'm a mutt, that a vampire and a lichen got it on and then bit each other. Anyhow. Speaking of fantasies, yeah, I went there. I'm still Team Jacob. See? Look, Tinkerbell's a bitch.
The set better is all I'm saying. Apparently I'm not alone in that though. Somebody said, wow, she looks gorgeous, but why is the color grading so dark and dingy on these shots though? Why can't we have...
that's 4 and 8K doing that. Yeah, unfortunately, because now we can film things with super low lighting. Every DP in the world is like, I want to make this all naturalistic. I want to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on the movie. It is not 2001 Space Odyssey, although that is natural lighting as well. No, It is one of his series of movies. There's several of them, but it's a 1960s where the entire movie is filmed by firelight, and it's a fantastic. Oh goodness, it's about a lord. It is the slowest, most boring, sexy movie you've ever seen. Also, the Pixie's upset because it's not bright enough. Yeah, no doubt, Pixie. I bet you. Why don't you just go back and rewatch the original? You got 60 years or more of pretty, happy, bright, BS portions of versions of the story. Somebody wants to tell the story in an original setting, following up with all the other pan and all that stuff, where the story's kind of being truthful about how sad and lonely this stuff is, and about becoming an adult is giving up your childhood, which is a sad idea. And you're like, I want to be magical, everything because my eyelashes. Folks, for real? Weird. Anyhow, yeah, did I? Yeah, I did. Why? She got holes in her jeans, and I was like, is it? Oh my God. Why? Oh, because she works in a studio and nobody can. And she, by the way, she's in Nashville. Which is cool. If you like, Nash Vegas, which is the Vegas of the South, it's cool. It's not Asheville, though. Asheville's dope. Shout out to Asheville. Yeah, Warren Haynes, Christmas Jam, every year. Also, there's an incredible, just a shout out, that whole town, Asheville, rules. Flat out. All right? Cool. Let's get at it.
Movies outside in the sunshine anymore, especially magical fairy Disney movies like this. It's because everybody needs to go outside. Nope.
Okay, first off, magical fairy Disney movies like this. It's a what? Okay.
Nobody has seen the sunlight since March 13th of 2020, apparently.
Are you a moron? Does everybody just ignore the background and pay attention to the pieces they want? I think so nowadays. And I'm just gonna say, please don't let people do that. Pull up the information. It's easy enough. It's on our phones. It was a book from the late 19th century. Please stop letting people believe whatever they want just because they use words in whatever way they want, just because it fits them and you don't feel comfortable. It's uncomfortable to you to stand up and go like, hey, nah, are you just ignorant? It's okay if you are, but just tell me if you don't know, because let me give you a little perspective. And if they don't want to take it, well, that's fine, but then you at least know, let's give her a cloud hat. And by cloud hat, I mean wig. The one with make it a hat with a bill, too. So she can turn around backwards. Wear it Broham style, because there's definitely some Josephine Baker going on in here. Definitely Josephine Baker. That's all I'm saying. I mean, no, I'm saying a lot.
Somebody else said, I don't care about the race swap, but what does bother me is the lack of color, creativity, and
Does I already miss these people? I don't care about the race swap, but I'm gonna mention it first. And then I'm going to talk about color in a vague way. Hold on. Hello? I'm going to read it like a cat. Meow. I don't care about the race swap, but what does bother me is a lack of color. I can't even get through it that way. Here, let me read it like a large man. I don't care about the race swap, but what does bother me is a lack of color, creativity, and vibrancy in many of these live-action remakes. Tinkerbell can be black and still have her signature blonde hair.
vibrancy in so many of these live action remakes.
That hurt my head! Your tweet hurt my head! Congratulations, you hurt me! There's so many other guns out there. That was a... Okay. Halu has got to be a man my age. I know it! I know it! Sorry.
Tinkerbell can be black and still have her signature blonde hair. There are lots of cute, fun hairstyles that could have got... and then had the Schitt's Creek meme.
Yeah, that's, I just can't... What? Holy mackerel. What? What is going on? What is going on?
Hey, black guy here. Forced diversity annoys the hell out of me and doesn't make me like the film show anymore. I love seeing new and original black characters that have been given way more love and care than they black. Somebody else said race swapping is a sign of deeply racist creators. They'd rather...
Okay, so I gather his point, and the reason that by the... Oh, no, this might be the one. This the next, folks? Should I do this? This is the one? Try that one more time. Hold on a second. I can do this better. Awesome. I can't remember what the name of that face is, but runs in my family, by the way, if you didn't know. Now I'm telling you. It's genetics. You can't learn it. You can't. I'm telling you. Thank goodness for it.
Turn a white character into a lazy recolor, then allow new ethnic characters to be championed. This is the main consensus here. Like, there are very, very few people in the world that I think would actually say, no, I don't want any people of color in these movies. I don't want any of it. I hate diversity. Like, most normal people do not care. Like, we think diversity is a good thing. We think that there should be characters from all...
The subtle insinuation that we don't care is saying we don't see people for their differences, which is insulting, and she doesn't realize it. And it took me a long time to learn this, by the way. And this is a lesson to my fellow melanin lacking folks. Because it doesn't matter what your background is. If you're melanin lacking, people don't see you as... people don't see me as Native American. Doesn't matter that I can live on a reservation. I don't look like Native American. My name does not come across as somebody of the tribe that my grandfather was born into. It's funny because my looks would say one thing, and people love to look at me and go, oh, that must be... Look, you have no clue. I'm a mutt. I'm so many things. The looks come from all different angles. And despite having... it just... Never just judge a book by its cover, folks. That's the real story here.
Different backgrounds and colors and ages and everything. And it's offensive when the best you could do is just swap out the race of a character and remake them. The best you could do.
Like, okay, so... this is where I get confused with some of this stuff. It's like... Is there such a pretentious behavior? Is there such an arrogance that when people watch a movie, if it doesn't match their ideal, they feel smarter because they have a different idea? That they think that their alternative narrative or casting choice is the one that makes them smarter? You confused. You very, very, very confused. Yes. Yes, indeed. And this is the kind of mental prison that I'm talking about. It's an irony that she's missing that she's being bigoted while saying she doesn't mind the changes. It's the same as noting first what the color of the actress is, but then saying you don't care about it. Now, one of the things I learned a long time ago is respecting other people's backgrounds, which is why I was saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but respect what people say about themselves. It's very important. And I used to think, growing up in the time period, they taught us, don't see color, be colorblind. And so I was, because I grew up in a diverse and multicultural place where I was actually the, not the majority by any means. And it turns out, while sitting close to somebody one day, I said I was colorblind, and they said, yo, bigot. It's like, what? I thought that was what? I was like, what? And I was about to get angry, and they explained, look, you don't see me for me? Me being blank. You don't see that? Well, you're just going to ignore that? Oh. I said, yeah. So you're going to ignore a portion of my identity and my background and my experience. Oh, man. What a privileged way to ignore bigotry. And that's a lot of the root of this. You can't ignore who a person is without being cynical or lying, putting up a facade. You can't. Now, that doesn't mean you have to think negatively about them. And in fact, most of the time when you acknowledge people for who they are, they become endearing and endeared to you. And it shows a loyalty and an honesty and an earnestness. Now, it doesn't mean you can go around dropping N-bombs with hard R's. That'd be an idiot's game. Don't try to equate the two. By the way, that's the whole other thing, is these false equations that just, well, you know, if you have a Tinkerbell that's not white, what's next? Sleeping with animals? Well, hey, by the way, that's been a thing since the beginning of humankind, so let's not get into it. There's a town in South America, by the way, that apparently it's a popular I don't want to know these. How come I know these things? It's your people's fault. Why did I have to see those videos? Seriously! You hurt my mind! Alright. What dribble is she saying?
Movie. You're not even trying. That's like throwing minorities a bone and being like, are you happy?
You're not even trying. You only spent $100 million on this movie. It had 22 writers and a team of 500,000 people working on it. You're not even trying. Is that it? Is that pretty close? Am I getting it? Am I getting the look? Because that's the look, right? Is that like the new duck face? Ugly. Yeah. By the way, arrogance and bigotry is ugly. It's a prison of the mind that would be sold to you innocuously. It would be sold to you as if we should ignore it now. Because, oh, we're just way past that. But clearly we're not, when we can't even get out of our prisons, stop throwing the poopy pile of the tribe next to us, and recognize that the real issue here, the real problem that we're having, is a cooperation event. Recognizing that there's respect for your neighbor that takes no energy whatsoever, and it takes way more energy to believe in this kind of propaganda sold to you by a pretty face with no experience who doesn't even know what it is that she's actually doing. And by doing, I mean what she's affecting, and how 10 years from now, this is going to be a dangerous person if she, in fact, continues on. Because what we're seeing is authoritarianism, a fascist mindset building up to build more prisons, sold down and built so we can fight amongst ourselves. And the hoarding can become more intense for a few. Break out your prison, folks. I got the sledgehammer right here. Really, it's right here. I need to get a sledgehammer. I really do. I'm going to start smashing things on the side of the camera. Something. I'll figure it out. I'll go Gallagher. Trust. By the way, I met him on an airplane once. He was... anyways. I don't want to say... He was fun to watch. You know what I'm saying. Anyways.
Happy now, everybody clap for us. Does the mean girl thing, is that actually like, is that making a period? Yes. Period.
I'm just saying 12-year-old mean girl logic, and it works with my dad, because he stopped arguing with me, and my boyfriend, he stopped arguing with me, and I use this logic.
No, we can see through it, and if you can't, you
Yeah.
need to
Yeah, we can see right on through it. Because you have no perspective, and I wonder if someday you're going to look back at this and be like, oh my God, I'm probably. Or is all the money just going to keep you blinded with that pretty shawl that you too will pull right on over your own eyes, to the detriment of the rest of us? Look up!
wake up, because your outrage is probably performative if you actually think that this is a...
Oh, really? Their outrage is performative, huh? The outrage against long-term oppression, the outrage against long-term bigotry, the outrage of consistent prejudice, huh? We should just all get over that, huh? Okay. Despite the fact that my tiny little channel, the one consistent comment I've deleted is angry Jew. Huh. Wonder why. Doesn't matter what it is that I am or believe. People want to look at the picture and decide what things are instead of seeing what they are and knowing what they are. And you're one of these instigators out there who's just literally doesn't know any different. She doesn't know even the crest you're wearing on your jacket. But boy, your eyebrows are the same as your boss, so you must be a part of some allegiant system. Curious!
positive step in the right direction. Somebody said, at this point, Disney isn't doing it for diversity. It is just a marketing ploy to get people's attention. That is literally it. And they are...
Okay, so speaking of marketing ploys to get people's attention, the reason you can't live in LA isn't just because it's too expensive. It's because you could never spend time in this city with its diversity and its 10,000 square miles. Which, by the way, when people are like, "Oh my God, there's nothing to do there," it's because this place is so big for most people who just come here. If you're not born and raised here, it's a maze, it's a labyrinth, it's a monstrous place, just like Tokyo is, where like you have to grow up there to know all the prefectures and know what they're good for and what's there. You just can't just show up and be like, "Oh my God, I'm in LA and I should just be able to go downtown." Which downtown? Who's downtown? Yeah, it's too much. It's convoluted. It's nuanced. It's huge, and it has many cultures and a lot of food. And by the way, it's Alex Clark. His website has his channel. Great channel, fantastic. Always has been. He's been around. Old school YouTuber. Met him back on the Digitour way back in the day. So check out his channel. He's got a great somebody who's not from here, from LA. Like I'm biased. I'm from LA. He's got a whole list of what makes LA great, and food, without question, is one of them. Because if you can't find a diversity and wonder, wonder, why you can't find food here? Crazy, insane. I literally can. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it. I don't want to dox myself about where I live, but I'm just gonna say, even in the place where I live, where there's a lot of white people. By the way, I'm just gonna say this outright. I'm scared of white people. When you put a lot of white people together, I'm gonna say something real prejudiced right now. Okay, so trigger alert. When you put a lot of white people together, bad things happen. Okay. I'm just gonna make that blanket generalization. When you put too many of them together, a very specific brand of white people, generally nationalists, with the same belief system, bad things happen. Normally there's a tiki torch, there's a fire of some nature, books get burned, suddenly we can't listen to music, women are being impregnated for some old man, dogs and cats living together. It's a 300-foot tall marshmallow man.
Lazy. But let's watch the trailer. I'm willing to give it another shot because I do love
Okay,
Pierre.
I'm
I said it
not.
before.
You know what? I think I've heard enough from her. And Pierre's ready to go. when the producer's ready to go, we got to give it up. So, you know. What did we learn today? We learned that you too can pull the wool over your own eyes when you're an ironic teenage mentality given a multi-million-dollar platform. When you two are given enough money to not have to be accountable to the things you say or recognize with any perspective that you don't have perspective. What's that lesson? That they will sell you, the they, at the top of the Ben pyramid scheme, will sell you a ball of wax that'll dribble on down and you'll call it candy. And you yum, 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 yum. Because your dad'll give you more poopy that you can bedazzle on up and throw out of your prison cell. Standing there at the bars going, I can't get out. Meanwhile, the door's wide open behind you. Just hold on a second. Let me show you. It's really easy. You go like this. Hi. How do you do? Out of the box. In the box. All right. You got that? All right. So hopefully we've learned a lesson today that Disney princesses apparently get pissed when you change anything about their Disney ideas. And that's a problem because that feeds into a system that would let all these terrible concepts just float on by for some really petty idea on top. I don't like what she looks at. Ignore the fact that representation is happening, and that's a very good thing. That caring about your neighbor and including them in the story is a good thing. And creating fantasy that we can all see ourselves in is a good thing. Because when you don't like that, you're telling everybody that you could give a damn and don't care about them and their identity. But your identity is what matters. You should be traditional. What, the cartoon? Because if we want to keep the cartoon traditional, they actually have gone back to that with the darkness. And yeah, the 4K thing. Yeah, by the way, DPs, lighten up your shots. I will agree there. Lighten up your shots. I hate it when I'm watching something and it's like, also, audio mixers. Stop making the dynamics so wide. You know what I'm saying. Don't make it loud and then soft and loud and then soft and loud. Loud and soft. Loud and soft. Boom, boom, boom. No, it drives me nuts. I really, as an engineer, it drives me nuts. Compressors, folks. Little YouTube trick. Anyway. Well, so on the way out the door, I just want to remind you, we don't have to live this way. We can see things for what they are, enjoy things for what they are, enjoy art for what it is, take it at face value, have your perceptions. You can have your criticisms, you can have your own feelings about anything because there's 8 billion of us. But as soon as you try to undermine and sell the undermining as if this is what everything should be, and when it's not, oh, why are we paying attention to you? I already did that. You are doing nothing but playing into a fascist idealism. We've already been down that path and we see what happens on planet Earth. So I'm saying break yourself out from that prison cell. Stop throwing your bedazzled poopy at your neighbor. Walk right the hell out the door and join me on the outside. Because as soon as we all leave this obelisk, well, guess what, folks? We are no longer in a prison of our own mind that's been sold to us, and the people at the top who have been benefiting this whole time don't benefit off of our mental slavery. We stop buying into and purchasing their BS and dribble down wax that we can throw at each other after it's been consumed. And all I can say, folks, is that you didn't know before today, I care about you. Like and subscribe and keep up with me, because we will light this fire that turns into the forest blaze that burns down all of their construct. Take the sledgehammer that's sitting right behind me, and I will lend it to you so we can break down this obelisk and watch the men fall to the ground. We can use that as a doorstop and get some equity and equality across the planet. And feed us all, and care for us all, and love us all, because it's good for all of us. So don't forget, if you can, whenever you can, make sure to be kind to your neighbor. And look up!